My name is Joan McDonald. I'm a registered nurse. I'm also an elder care consultant. And I work for the Care Guide and for Care Connect. And here's how we started. Company started with Care Planning Partners, and Care Planning Partners is the umbrella. We're a group of companies, and we publish the Care Guide. And the Care Guide is a wonderful tool. It's about senior housing and care options. We have 400,000 that go across Canada, and it's a free publication for people, and it talks about anything and everything that people have to deal with. So this was in 1993. We started this, the Care Guide, and from this we started Care Connect. And what happened was our readers would phone in and say, I love your book, it's a terrific book, it's given me lots of information, but what do I do with my mom? So what's happening here is that we started Care Connect, and Care Connect is a network of nurses, and what we do is we go out and we meet with families, we do assessments, we do care planning, and we come up with solutions for them. I'm the director of Care Connect, just so you know where I came from. Okay, thank you. So today, let's talk about the diseases that affect mobility and how we live in our homes. I went to a wonderful conference the other day called Acquired Brain Injury. And it really brought to light to me, because I'm dealing with a lot of clients that are having degenerative diseases, like people who are aging and have Parkinson's or multiple sclerosis. But this was different. This acquired brain injury is something that we all need to think about. And let's talk about things to consider, home safety, and I'll just give you a couple of case studies that I am working on. So debilitating diseases. Congenital diseases, cerebral palsy, etc., as well as multiple sclerosis, Parkinson's disease, Alzheimer's, all provide disabilities for you to live in your home and you live in the environment. So this is a client that I'm currently dealing with. She's a 97-year-old lady. She lives in a retirement home in her own apartment, and it's called a life lease. So she's very independent. She's lived there for 10 years. She loves what she's doing. And then she fell. And she fell on a Persian rug of hers. And she just tripped over it, fractured her hip. And then what happened was now she's in the process of getting mended and figuring out how she's going to cope with her disability of lack of mobility. So they contacted Care Connect. And Care Connect worked with the family in the hospital to sort of say, okay, let's bring her home and see what we can do. She has physiotherapy, she has occupational therapy, she has 2 live-in caregivers that work with her, and the CCAC, which is the Community Care Access, are coming in at nights to do night shifts. So she's so lucky, because the alternative was to go to a long-term care home. But we've been able to network her to be in her own home with all these different resources. So, she's doing well. She's doing really well. She's up walking. She uses a walker. She's getting active again. So, and Care Connect was part of that. So let's look at acquired brain injury. Acquired brain injury is damage to the brain that occurs after birth from a traumatic or non-traumatic event. Damage to persons who have a brain injury from trauma. So it's a car accident, it could be a fall, it could be sports. Stroke, brain tumor, aneurysm, anything that causes, and other causes, resulting in physical, cognitive, and emotional changes. So when I went to the seminar about acquired brain injury, it's a huge scope, and we don't think about it. Because you think about brain injury with a car accident, but you don't think about the extent of how it can happen. Okay, thanks, Paul. So 1.3 million Canadians are living with acquired brain injury. 1 in 26 Canadians, so that's 1 in 26 of us have an acquired brain injury. 18,000 Ontarians will suffer a brain injury this year. So it's huge. I mean, the escape is, it's huge. 80 to 100% of the individuals with a brain injury will have some form of communication disorders. So 1 in 10 people will know somebody who suffers a brain injury this year. Within the next hour, 6 Canadians will suffer a brain injury. So it's massive, and yet we don't really think about it. We think about stroke, we think about brain tumor, but we don't think of how expansive it is. So here are the things to consider with ABI, or anything that has a physical problem: complete or partial paralysis in some parts of the body, trouble maintaining balance, decreased hand coordination and less ability to move your arms, speaking, reading, or writing difficulty. Cognitive problems are common and may include decreased memory, difficulty focusing, keeping organized, the inability to multitask. Emotional problems: anger, decreased patience, and depression. So when you have that scope of what we have to look at, we have to look at things to consider. So with Care Connect, we have to consider, these are the things that we look at. What are the needs? What is the level of care that that person needs? When they call Care Connect to come in to a home, like the 97-year-old, what is it that we need to do for her care? She needs 24-hour care, so we have to work around all her needs. Preferences: what does she want? She wants to come home. More than anything, she wanted to come home. So we have to look at that. Support network: who's going to help her? Her family, her support system, her caregivers. What's the extent of her support network? Eligibility for services. So what is the Community Care Access Center able to do for her? And really, with Care Connect, we work very closely with CCAC, because they may provide a little bit of help. Any help is great if it's free. So what we do is we fill in the gaps. Anything that they couldn't do, we are able to do it. Availability of options in the community. So that means that what are our support systems in the community? And again, the last thing, finances. Can we afford to do what we're doing? And this is another case study that I have. This is a gentleman that I met probably 6 months ago. At 68, he had a stroke. He's a lawyer. He was practicing in his own firm. He was very established and very busy, and he had a stroke. So he has right-sided paralysis. So his right side has paralysis, and he is aphasic, which means he's unable to speak. So from a vital person who is a huge presence in his community, he's now in a situation where he can't communicate, he can't walk, he can't do things for himself that he did before. And when you look at ABI and what we looked at, the emotional side, he's got all those things. He's got anger, he's got depression, and he really feels, what's the point? What's the point of me going on? At 68, I've lost all the things that I've been able to do. So the family contacted Care Connect. We now have a caregiver coming in that he's bonded with. We have physiotherapy coming in. He's now going out in Wheel-Tran, which he never did before because he stayed in his room the whole time. And he is slowly accepting his disability. But it's much better because, you see, he now, even though he can't speak, he can gesture. He can make himself known, but up to now he hasn't been able to do that because he just is angry. He just doesn't want to talk to you. But it's wonderful to see the changes that he's going through. Thanks, Paul. Okay, so let's look at home safety. Home safety is when we, with Care Connect, we go in to do an audit. So if I go into a home, like you would go into a home, and things that you need to be aware of, and it might be a little jumbly here, but for example, all important numbers should be beside the phone so that that person knows that they can have the numbers there. They're not trying to figure out where they are. The emergency numbers should also have all the medical information. Should be someplace else, like on the fridge. Who the contacts are, who the doctors are, what's the diagnosis, what's the medication. All those things should be front and center, should be someplace that everyone knows where it is, and particularly the client knows where that is. An ID bracelet. Everyone should have an ID bracelet, because if by chance they fall, they're unconscious, they need to know who they're talking to. Is this Mr. Smith? Or is this Mr. Smith? We don't know who he is. So you have to make sure, it's an important thing just to get an ID bracelet. This is out of context a little bit. Electric outlet should be 29 inches above the ground. So if I'm in a wheelchair or if I'm in a walker, I can't bend down, I can just plug something in that's easy to do. Large rocker switches, you know how the light switches, if you push it up and down, easy to do, not the little ones that you have. Change to brighter light bulbs. It's really important because it's really hard for them to focus sometimes, so change your light bulbs. Easy thing to do. Door handles and faucet handles have the lever ones as opposed to the turn ones, because it makes a big difference, because they can hit it with their elbow or they can work it with their hand just with pressure down. Remove scatter rugs. It's really important. We have a hard time with seniors because it changes their outlook. It changes their home, because that's what they want. They want that scatter rug down their hallway, and yet it really is a trap. Even when we say tack it down, it doesn't really work because you have to clean it anyway. So, but that's what we should do. Clean a pathway that's 3 feet wide, making an opportunity for people to move their walkers or in a wheelchair. Medical alert. I notice that you gentlemen have a lifeline on, so you have to, lifeline's an important thing to have, and it's something that everyone should consider when someone's at home. Child-proof locks on outlets, removing sharp objects, removing electric fans, lock up prescription drugs. That's a big one. Prescription drugs is really a difficult one, because that's their independence again. Most people, seniors certainly that I work with, they want to do their own pills. They want to put them in those plastic containers that are called dosettes. But the fact is that now the drugstores put them in blister packs. And it's so much better, because all the pills that they need for morning are in that little blister pack, and they can do it themselves. So it's really safer that way. If you do it the other way, then what happens is, did I take it? Did I not take it? Did I put it in? Did I not put it in? It's really better that way. Lock up cleaning supplies and chemicals and poisons. Remove firearms, that's a natural. I don't know whether we'd have firearms here. Place reflector tape on furniture corners, so that if they see them, same thing as on the rise of the stairway. If you put reflector tape on there, it really helps them to see where the depth of the stair is, because they see that. Have a smoke alarm on each floor. It's really important. And plan the process for getting out in case of a fire. Kitchen, I think it's pretty standard. You're locking up sharp objects, you're locking the poisons up. There are things that you can get as an automatic shut-off for the stove, which is in dementia, is really good thing, because that's probably the biggest thing that we have, is that a senior puts the kettle or puts the pot on it and forgets to turn it off. So they make them now, the shut-off valves. Locking the oven doors, again, that's like a child-proof lock that's on that. Unplugging and putting away appliances, and locks on cabinets. Water, big thing with water. Reduce the hot water temperature to 120 degrees Fahrenheit or below. Lots of seniors use the hot water to make tea. And so you got to be careful, because they want it hot. And we see so many burns from seniors that turn the tap the wrong way when they're having a shower, and they scald themselves. Bathroom. Install grab bars. Grab bars are really important. I say to you, make sure that you put them into a place, have somebody do it that know what they're doing. I've seen it before, that they have the handyman come and they do it, and then what happens is they're not done properly, and the client falls because they're not done properly. So grab bars by the toilet, in the shower and the bath. Bath mat on the bottom of the tub. tub chair to sitting in the tub or the shower really helps. Putting in a handheld shower nozzle instead of standing so they can be independent. You really want to increase their independence so that they can shower themselves. You just have to give them the handheld. Lock-up razors. Again, the modification in a bathroom so that they can transfer themselves to the toilet, but they have to have enough swing room in that toilet to do that. Marking the cold and hot faucets. Really important because we take it for granted. It needs to be marked so that they know the difference. And you can get door locks that can be opened on both sides. It's a really important thing because it means that, you know, they can lock the door because they want to lock the door, but it means that if you can get in, you can still get in. So I hope that helps a little bit. I'd like to thank Mary for all her hard work, and Mary, you just keep up that good work. So you can get in touch with the Care Guide and Care Connect on our website. Our website is www.thecareguide, all one word, .com. And we have a phone number, 1-800-311-CARE. So that phone number, the 311 CARE, will take you to our Care Connect site as well. So we're all together. So I thank you for this.